And if you don't win, you will be gone.
Oh, really? China wants Pierre Poilievre out. The Liberals want Pierre Poilievre out. The state-funded, taxpayer-subsidized legacy media are desperate to get Pierre Poilievre out. Welcome back to the show. My name's Mark Nixon. You know what this tells me? This tells me that we need to double down. When every single corrupt establishment player in this country is running the exact same play, it's because they are terrified. Pierre Poilievre is the only guy standing between everyday Canadians and complete and total destruction. And in today's report, we're going to take a look at how far the clown world has escalated. Up in Edmonton, the police department has completely lost the plot. They've reached the point where they literally want to put the working class Canadians in jail if you hurt somebody's feeling with an opinion online. And I'm not even kidding. They're going after offensive jokes now. Name me one. Just one successful comedian in history who hasn't made fun of a certain group of people.
The liberal media tell you how to think and feel. If you have hate in your heart, let it out.
Your favorite stand-up comedian is going to skip Canada altogether in their world tour entirely because saying the wrong punchline might land them in a holding cell. Absolute insanity. Meanwhile, the media is serving up brand new polling numbers, and let's just call it what it is. 100% manufactured fantasy. Mark Carney has delivered loss after loss after loss. So what does the media do? They cook up a convenient polling data out of thin air just so that they could shield him from the fallout and trick you into thinking the mood has shifted in this country. Nobody is buying it, however. But do you know what the real polling data is? Just take a look at the exit door. Everyday Canadians are literally flooding out of this country in record numbers just to save themselves and their families from this radical regime. I have a massive report for you today. Smash that like button. Hype the video if you have any hypes left. I'm back, baby, and I love delivering these reports for all of you. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do so. Let's get into this report. China wants Pierre Poilievre out. Sam Cooper, an award-winning Canadian journalist and author, best known for exposing transnational organized crime, money laundering, and foreign political interference in Canada, came out and said this.
All this kind of Conservative Party turmoil. Look, I'm not a partisan. I'm a political observer. But I would say to your question, it's already proven on the record that the CCP doesn't want Pierre Poilievre to be the Conservative leader. I'll give you two documented facts. I've reported on at the Bureau that after O'Toole had to step down, China interfered in the leadership race of a major Canadian party in 2022. This comes from CSIS documents I obtained in a leak. It didn't name the party, but I confirmed it was the Conservatives. It wasn't the Green Party of Canada. And so what these documents said was there was a proxy for a Chinese proxy, that is, that was encouraging people to sign up to the Conservative Party as members to support a certain leader. And the quote from the document said they felt that the Conservatives had been a little anti-China, maybe even a little pro-Falun Gong, which is a group that China hates and wants to destroy. And so they wanted to select a more friendly leader to China. Now, they didn't do it. Poilievre, that China doesn't like him. I can say that 100%. But what happened after the last election, this very same China-connected group that I just told you about that came out on the record saying O'Toole should step down, they came out again and said Poilievre should step down. So to fully answer your question, I think there are domestic political sort of questions being asked over whether Poilievre is the right leader for the Conservatives. But I'm saying it's already on the record that China sees him as a threat. They see him as pro-Taiwan. They're trying to take him down. So I think the caution I would put out there to some of these conservative influencers or party staffers that seem to want Poilievre out of the way, look, you might not even know it, but I would assess that there are highly likely sort of deep Chinese influence efforts that are getting behind some of these attacks on Poilievre. So people may want to kind of look at what's behind their arguments, I believe.
This is one of the most explosive news clips I've seen in forever. We need to share this with every single Canadian you know. This guy knows what he's talking about. And for all of those supposed conservative influencers that want to see Pierre Poilievre gone, should they get investigated by CSIS? By the way, this podcast report with Sam Cooper came from Josh at the Elevate Report. Go ahead and follow him. Take a look at this entire interview. It's worth your time. Now that we know that China wants Pierre Poilievre out, it really puts the question on these fake conservative like Corey Tanaik and Fred Dollery here and many others. They've been attacking Pierre Poilievre nonstop, saying, you know what? It's time for him to step down. Here we have Corey tonight rip Pierre Poilievre apart in this. He's supposed to be conservative, everybody. Somebody needs to take a look at his bank accounts.
Our favorite topic of the weakness of Pierre Poilievre. Like, the reason why he's being such a pussy on pushing back against Western separatism is because he is so weak. And like one of the last cores of strength that he has is the lunatic fringe of the Conservative Party that is more indexed towards people who are supporting the separatist movement in Alberta. And he doesn't want to piss off one of the last core pieces of his support base at a time when he is under threat everywhere he looks. Who is a quote real conservative instead of who is a real loser, and he is in the real loser category of conservative, as evidenced by the fact that he's in Alberta at all, which means he lost his own seat in Ontario along with the last federal election. That is what I call a two-time loser. And on his way to being a three-time loser. He's not going to pick up this fight because he's too weak to do it. But that doesn't mean that Stephen Harper isn't strong. That doesn't mean that there aren't other people like Jason Kenney and others who are in Alberta who actually do believe in fighting for the country, who could be making compelling arguments.
Aaron O'Toole, Jason Kenney, these people are also fake conservatives. He's not conservative. I believe that he potentially has been employed by China or by Mark Carney to act as if he's a conservative and bash Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre is being under attack by everybody except for the common Canadian. Pierre Poilievre went to a gym to support the gym and try to encourage other Canadians to get fit, stay healthy. And I knew right then and there that there would be some liberals that would come out and call out Pierre Poilievre and call him Andrew Tate of the North. I said, which liberal's going to do this next? No surprise, the fake conservative steps up. Corey Tanaik calls Pierre Poilievre Andrew Tate of the North. And just like I said yesterday, I said a liberal's going to call him out. And here you go. Straight from the fake conservative's mouth himself.
Embarrassing. Like, how much do you debase yourself, right? Like, we're getting to Andrew Tate levels
I think
lunacy here.
How insecure is your masculinity?
Oh,
is the
yeah.
first question, and that is your answer.
Well,
Doing like a full Pete Hegseth.
Embarrassing. Like, how much do you?
You know what's embarrassing is Robin Hood with his hat. Like, the guy is a complete joke. And I absolutely love this comment. Hey, North fan Caroline Elliott, take note at why you lost. Corey Tanaik was her campaign manager. Big mistake. And if you really want to know why the liberal elites and the media are attacking Pierre Poilievre, it's because he wants to shift the power from the elites back to ordinary Canadians like you.
Look, that the Liberals and the Liberal establishment are going to try to smear me because they know that I want to give people back control of their lives. They know that I stand with the hardworking people of this country who literally build the nation. And they know that that things would change if I became Prime Minister. That is why you're going to see the Liberal elites attack me relentlessly and do everything they can to disparage not just me, because they really don't care about me. They really want to disparage the people that I'm fighting for.
They want you to feel so hopeless that you don't go out and vote. They don't want you to vote for change. How do I know this? Later on in this segment, I'm going to show you what mainstream media and the polling firms in Canada are doing right now. But first, we're going to take a look at the Edmonton Police Department. Oh, we can't forget about them. And this story is nuts. But before I go over the story, I just want to say that there are wonderful police officers across this country that serve and protect. This has nothing to do with you. Thank you so much for your service. I have family members that work for the RCMP, and they are fantastic police officers. There are many out there, but this has nothing to do with the service members across this country. This has everything to do with decisions made at the very top. And this all started after the Edmonton police posted on their social media, "You typed it, someone lived it. Online hate isn't just a comment. It hurts people's feelings and it harms real communities. Hate has no home here." Let's take a look at their propaganda video and see what hate looks like to them. And of course, you have to have the scary music. It's just so scary. But let's take a look at some of their examples of what hate is. Canada needs deportations now. First of all, if you commit a crime in this country, we have actual laws in Canada. If you commit a crime and you're here as a visitor, you need to be deported immediately. How is that hateful? How is it hateful? It is not hateful. Send them back home. How is that hateful, making a statement like that? It is not. These things that they showed as hateful are opinions. And when in Canada have opinions become against the law? They haven't. They made this entire thing up. And thanks to people like you out there in Canada, they immediately had to take this down. That's right. They took it down because there was so much public backlash. This is a reminder that when you see something, say something. This is what they told us to do after all, isn't it? If you see that they have crossed the line, you need to speak up. Otherwise, this type of thing is going to be normalized. I want to thank every single Canadian out there that immediately contacted the Edmonton police force and said, this is wrong. We need to put our foot down and tell them that they can't get away with this type of thing. If you thought that was bad, it gets more unbelievable. Canada has lost the plot. Edmonton police lists offensive jokes as an example of what a hate-motivated incident is. The greatest comedians on the planet made a career on offending everybody equally. You know what's become the biggest joke? Canada. Check this out. From Edmonton Police, they listed an example of hate incident include verbal assaults, name calling, offensive jokes considered a hate crime by the Edmonton Police. All I have to say is I think we've become a little bit too soft. When just a couple words are going to hurt somebody's feeling and now you're going to be reported to the police, we've gone so radical woke. This is what woke is. So what's going to happen here? There are actual liberal supporters here that love this new Edmonton propaganda campaign. They're supportive of it. You know, the thing is that these people think that it's just conservatives that spread this hateful speech. So they love it because they think conservatives are all going to be put in prison. So what I absolutely loved was the pleb reporter turning it back around on all of these libs. Conservative Canadian content creators across Canada get a whole lot of hate on a daily basis from the left. Pleb reporter here used this opportunity to turn things around on these libs.
Pull a reverse card on them. And it's honestly so funny watching my haters head spin over on X. They don't even know how to insult me anymore. Like, there was one guy yesterday who called me a veneer wearer. Like, having nice teeth is supposed to be insulting. But this next person actually may just have played themselves, as they responded to this picture calling me a fat f***. Because according to the left, today I experienced a hate crime or hate speech or a hate incident over on X, as this person called me a fat F, okay? That really hurt my feelings, and you can't do that in Canada anymore. You can't hurt anybody's feelings. So I told this person, did you just call me a fat f***? Did you know that that's now illegal in Canada, thanks to Mark Carney? Your hate speech has no place in our country. I'm reporting you to the Edmonton police. You think I'm bluffing? And one of my followers in the replies even said they were going to unfollow me if I became a snitch, and decided to call the Edmonton police to report this hate incident. Well, I guess I'm going to lose a follower. I am not going to take this from the left, okay? This bullying and this abuse and people hate criming me on the internet all day. Enough is enough. What's the number? 1-800-222-TIPS. All right, let's call them. Okay, I'm dialing them now. In my phone, on speaker, shows up as Crime Stoppers.
The customer you are calling is unavailable at the moment. Please try again later.
So what happened is so many people started reporting hate crimes that are not hate crimes that the Edmonton police own tip phone number was dismantled. So if you try to call their tip line, you're going to say not available, not in service. But I thought it was absolutely genius to turn things completely upside down the way that Pleb did. This is the way that we deal with this radical insanity. So this thing completely backfired tremendously. If you actually go to the Edmonton Police Hate website, click it right here, you would actually see the page is not found. It's been completely taken down. I don't know who's running the show over here, but they should probably lose their job over this. And the most insane thing about this entire story is Elizabeth May warned Canadians that this exact thing was going to happen. And that's why she voted down Bill C-9.
But Bill C-9 not only doesn't solve problems of hate crimes, it not only doesn't give law enforcement new tools, it will create a morass. I'm absolutely certain that if this law is passed as is, it will waste police resources, waste court time, and tie people up in knots in wrongful prosecutions for things that were never hate crimes at all. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I vote against this bill.
Elizabeth May, the voice of reason in the House of Commons, she knew that this thing was going to happen. We're going to move on to bias polling that just came out. But for example, Mark Carney just delivers one loss after the next loss. For example, he wanted Canadians to judge him based on their experience at the grocery stores. Ever since he showed up into our lives, we're talking about record food inflation, and there's no end in sight. Just go to the grocery store. It's going to drain your bank account. Now let's talk about the polling. So all polls, Angus Reid, Abacus Data, Liaison, they're all within 4 to 9. But then a brand new Nanas poll just came out and has the Liberals at plus 19, off the charts. Somebody came out and did the calculation. Nick Nanos is pretty clearly more interested in government contracts than his own credibility. Check out how much he's getting funded in 2024-2025. Over $500,000, $600,000 in Liberal government contracts. And in 2025-2026, he's already at $500,000. Nanos receives 5.6 times as much funding from the Liberals as Abacus does. So there's absolutely no surprise how biased Nanos is. But of course, mainstream media picks up on Nanos' poll saying, look, the Liberals are reaching astronomical levels. They're about to land on the moon. Here's Nanos' poll modeled out 244 seats, basically annihilating the Conservative Party all the way down to 60 seats. They're basically not even a party of opposition. Only 27% versus 47%, a 20-point lead over the Conservatives. I don't know about you, but I don't believe any of this stuff. So what I decided to do, because it is so outrageous what Nick Nanos did, is this is the most accurate poll yet. I published this on my social media, released today. Liberal Party, 343 seats, completely annihilating every single party across Canada. We are officially North Korea here in Canada. The map is pure red. And it got 70,000 views because everybody in Canada knows that the Nick Nanos poll is absolute trash. Nick Nanos wasn't done BSing Canadians. He created another poll, which was garbage. Canadians believe Carney has no obvious challenger, new poll finds. This poll also was a bunch of trash. They want you to believe Carney has no obvious challenger. This is way more accurate. Nick Nanos has been bought off for years. Ever since the Liberals came into power in 2015, Nanos Research has been awarded at least 40 contracts from the federal government, totaling between $2.5 to $3.5 million. So yes, we have a very hard time believing this propaganda. You know what amazes me about these elbows up voters? Is they actually believe these polls. And they also believe Mark Carney is absolutely amazing. My refrigerator used to only hold $175 worth of groceries, but now it holds a total of 400. I don't know how he does it, but I definitely plan on voting for him again. And my last story is there's a mass exodus of Canada. 120,000 Canadians flooded out of this country in 2025, making it the fastest pace on record since 1950s. But that's when records began. This is the biggest exodus of Canada in Canadian history. Mark Carney and the Liberals say that our GDP is growing at a record pace. We are about to have the strongest economic growth in the G7, G20 on the planet. While at the same time, Canadians are looking at Canada and they are hitting the exit button. Does it look like there's confidence in Canada right now? Just take a look at the Northern Peso that's hovering at 71 cents. It is so low. Ever since the Liberals took power in 2015, we used to have a stronger Canadian dollar than the American dollar under the Conservatives. But since then, we've been absolutely destroyed. You know what the sad part is? Is the 120,000 people that left Canada is the brightest of the brightest. You know, the engineers, the doctors, the people we actually want to keep in this country. The Liberals, all they're going to do is open the floodgate to anyone that wants to come into Canada, flood our streets, throw garbage everywhere, and not follow Canadian laws. And if you start complaining about it and have opinions about it online, you are going to get charged with hate speech. That's where Canada's at right now. I'm happy to be back reporting for everybody. I want to be brutally honest. It took me a week to catch up. For us content creators, you need to be creating content every single day. The second you take a break, you fall behind. Hopefully I got everybody caught back up. I look forward to my report tomorrow. I will see you on the next report.